Hi, this is Vi from Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to show you an album. Now I'm creating a wedding album for my sister-in-law. And what I did is I took a very simple album that I purchased. This is actually the Martha Stewart Pink Elegant Scrapbook. And it came with a lot of papers and pages, so let me show you. Now I'm going to be using some of the luxury stack from Die Cut with a View because it really, the papers in this stack really goes with the paper of the Martha Stewart. To me it looks more like wedding. This is going to be a wedding album that I'm creating. And then it comes with a lot of the papers, envelopes, as you can see. Comes with mats, with little journaling areas, more frames. It even comes with photo corners. It had alphabets in it. As you can see, there's some alphabets. And then I already started taking out the pages out. And it's kind of flimsy, so I'm going to back it up with cardstock. But you can see a lot of the colors are there. And let me see if I can find a better image. So this is what you get. You get a lot of the little mats and the papers and stuff like that, but not really any embellishments. So I want to show you how you can take a very plain, this is a plain album, and it's designed just to basically put your picture and a little bit of writing. Is very plain. We're going to spruce it up. Okay, so let me show you what I've created so far. Now this is one of the pages I created. I do have a video haul of the Webster pages, papers and embellishments that I got some time ago. And these are part of the Webster pages. And then I got a video on how to create the flowers. I took some of my handmade flowers. I placed them on the page. I took some of my hot glue embellishments and I put that there. And see how it spruced it up? It was actually, and the inspiration for that one was actually this one. So I just took this one. I mean, kind of like that one. But then I added two pictures. And then I added layers in between, and there's my page. So see, from something that is very simple like this, something just plain old vanilla, to this. Let me show you another one that I've created. Now this was using the Webster's pages. So I took some of the Webster pages and I created this layout with just one photo mat. I used the stickers from the Webster pages. This is a video that I have on how to create this doll. This is a Prima doll. And I just put fabric and just glued her here. And then I used a pocket. Now it had a saying here that I did not like. So you can always take your envelopes and you can rework your envelope by adding some stickers, some embellishments, and just make it you know, different. Just make the saying or whatever it says on this envelope. You can make it that it actually is relevant to the layout. And then I took my Martha Stewart punch and I punched around the page. Okay. This is another layout that I created using the Webster's pages and using my flowers, my butterflies, and this is going to be the first page of that album. And you know, I use some of I have videos on how to create these glitter butterflies, videos how to create this frame, and so I kind of using all the stuff that I have to create this page. So this is going to be the front, and then because I only had one page of this key paper, and I wanted to use it as a layer. You go ahead and cut out 2 inches in from the edge, and then you can use that middle part to create your layers for the front. So that's just a tip. And then this is another page that I used using Webster pages. Some more of the icons and the little cut aparts that comes in that page, in those pages, and a little sticker. So here you are. So here's the other page that I'm going to work on. It's very plain vanilla. I'm going to be using some of these die cuts. These die cuts were done with the new Anna Griffin die emboss and die cut dies. Now I'm going to give you a tip, but first, before I give you the tip, I'll show you. You get a set of 3 with the embossing mat for like $34.95. And then this is the swirl. There's one that's called like flourishes. And then there's one that's a flower one. So this is the flower one. So for my inspiration or for my embellishments, I'm going to be using the flower one and the swirls. I really love these two. Now, to get a real nice cut on those die, because it's very intricate, especially if your plates are not as straight as they should be, you can use this little metal sheet. And I got this. This is actually, let me get the name of that metal sheet. I got this metal sheet. It's a Cut-A-Hug, and it's a large metal adapter plate. You can use it in your Big Shot, your Cutterbugs, for detailed cuts. So this is from Cherry Lynn Designs. You can purchase that on that website or at a scrapbooking store. And I got mine at a local craft store. But if you use this, you cannot use your sandwich with your green embossing mat or whatever, this foam, and then use a B plate, put this on, put your die on top, and then another B plate. You cannot do that because it's too thick to go through your Cuttlebug, and it's going to bend your plate. So what I found is, so I used a thinner tanning mat, embossing tanning mat, and it's from Spellbinder. So I used that. I put my I used the A plate, put this on top of the A plate, put a B plate, put this on top of the B plate, put this with the cutting side up, then put my paper on top, and then follow it with the B plate, and it cuts beautiful. And I go twice on my Cuttlebug, and it really cuts it out very nicely. And then you just use the green embossing mat to emboss it. So you take this out, and then you do the green embossing mat to emboss it. Okay, so I'm going to start putting all my pieces together. So I'm going to speed up the video and let's see what comes up. Because the paper from Martha Stewart album is very thin, I'm going to back it up with another piece of cardstock. And then I'm using my easel so that way I can sit down and really get a good view of the whole page. And kind of putting stuff together to see how it's going to look. And it works pretty well to kind of get an idea of the layout, but then I cannot use the easel to kind of glue things together. It's just basically to get an idea. So here I'm going to use my StazOn ink, and I'm using this Anna Griffin lace border stamp to create a frame around my one of my layers. And I really like how it looked once I stamped it. And then I'm going to cut it out. And I do cut it out off camera. So before I cut it out, I'll go ahead and put my paper, and that one's in, I believe, an 8x8 square that came in the Martha Stewart kit. So I glued that down, and then it just needed something, a transition piece from between the lace border and my 8x8 paper. So I used another of the Anna Griffin lacy stamp. It's just a thin stamp, a thin lace, and I created strips. And then I'm going to use those strips to kind of frame my paper. And I do miter the corner. And I find that it's very easy to use liquid glue to kind of frame your paper, and then cut the miter corner after you have glued it down. You just cut the corners and miter the corners. So I cut the frame out off camera, and then I went ahead and took another piece of cardstock and stamped my butterflies. And I turned off the video while I stamped the butterfly and colored my butterfly, and I lost the footage. So the next clip is just a recap of what I did. So let me go over the page. So this is the final page. So see how I took the idea. So the inspiration for this page is actually this. So this is what inspired me to create the page. So from this, I did this. I used some Anna Griffin stamps, as you saw me in the video. I used some Anna Griffin swirls. I used some of these flowers, which I embossed and made it a little more dimensional, but it's still kind of flat. And these are the flowers that you purchase at your bridal shop or on the bridal section of Michaels, and it's basically these. And I got these for all these flowers like $4 and something cents, so they're perfect for this layout. And I'm going to be using some more of those flowers throughout the album. And then I went ahead and embossed these papers. Now I want to give you a little trick, just a little advice when you emboss thin paper. So the Martha Stewart paper is kind of thin, and when you run it through the embossing machine, this is what happens. The first time I ran it, I could not get it out of the embossing machine. It just dug into the grooves of my embossing folder. I mean, I couldn't get it off the embossing folder. So what I did then, I cut a piece of wax paper. I placed that on my folder. Then I placed the paper on top of that, and then I closed it, and I ran it through the Cuttlebug, and it just, after I did that, it just peeled off really very nicely. And I think what I did is I put the embossing, the paper first, and then I put the wax paper after. I don't think it makes a difference, the sequence, if you put the wax paper first and then the paper you want to emboss, or you do the paper you want to emboss first and then the wax paper. The trick is to make sure that you put wax in between the paper and the embossing folder, so that way when it comes out, it just peels off. And you know, see how this one came out perfect? There's no breakage in this one. This one, I learned after my second mistake, there is a little bit of, you know, it did go cut through the paper, the emboss, but it's fine. And then this one is another that I used with the wax paper. So look how nice it looks with the wax paper. So that's just a trick that I really wanted to kind of tell you in case you do have that issue with thin paper. This is not the case with thick paper. You won't have that issue with thick paper. It's just with thin paper. The other advice is I want to show you is, see how nice the little outline? So I after I colored them with my color pencils, I went ahead and cut the outline of the butterfly, and see how nice that looks. And see how nice this page looks. Just a little bit of bling, a little bit of embossing. It just made the page. So from this to this. So I hope I have inspired you how you can take a plain little album and you can just spruce it up with a little bit of your die cuts and some more embellishments and create a gorgeous page for worthy for any gift. So I hope you like this video, and thank you for watching. Bye now.